Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Robin's Nest. This is volume 2 of the podcast back from the plague or whatever it was. Still kind of getting back in the swing of things. So today we're going to talk a little WRC. There's some massive news that broke over the weekend during Rally Japan. Every time I hear that, I just think of overnight parts from Japan. Yeah, I can't say it like the kid in the movie Fast and Furious. I think the first one. I can't remember what all he says, but something to the effect of, this car will be humming after you put the money in and overnight parts from Japan. So stupid, but legendary at the same time. Anyways, we're going to talk about WRC a little bit. So, if you enjoy listening to me ramble about motorsports, cars, anything else I feel like talking about, make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, turn on notifications. The works. If you're interested in diecast cars, t-shirts, auto parts, auto repair manuals, literally any and everything that you can think of, check out our eBay. The link is in the description. Follow me on Facebook and X for more motorsports content. Facebook is specifically Motorsports. X, we talk about a few other things, including politics, so just forewarning. If you get on there, that's what you're going to see. So, anyways, without further ado, let's get to the video. So, if you follow my channel for any amount, for any length of time up to this point, you know that I bought a Chevrolet S10 in 1993. I believe this was the last year of the square body. Don't quote me on that. I'm fairly certain, though. I'm fairly confident in making that statement. Bought it for $800. Ran. And runs. I mean, it's a complete vehicle. It had been sitting for a long time. And so, kind of been tinkering with it. I didn't want to get it out on the road until we knew that everything was buttoned up on it. And shame on me for not doing that thoroughly, because I took it to town the other day and got back and the tailgate was just covered with oil. So she had sprung a leak from oil line going down into, if I remember correctly, I think it was the oil filter in that vicinity. And so I had to put her up on ramps and get that buttoned up, which was fun. And so I'm going to work at a warehouse this week for a little bit, and so I wanted to put tires on it because I want to drive it back and forth to work. And anyways, I went to the tire shop, the only one that I could think of around here that was open on Saturday. And the only tires they had were like big tires, a lot bigger than what was on there. So now the thing looks like it's, like it's got an underbite, basically. What's that? What do they call it? The Carolina squat? Where the guys raise up the front of their trucks and have the back sitting on the ground, which looks incredibly stupid, by the way. That's kind of what the truck looks like right now. But we're going to put some bigger tires on the back of it so it won't look as ridiculous. The fun part about all this is we finally, exchanging money and got all that stuff taken care of a couple of days ago. So I haven't got a tag for it yet. I can almost guarantee you that probably going to get pulled over on the way either to or from work tomorrow. Hopefully it doesn't happen, because I just hate dealing with it. It's not like I have anything to hide, but we have paperwork and all that. But it's just annoying, and I hate dealing with it. But anyways, WRC. So if you haven't been following already, Kaylee Rovanpera had already announced that he's going to be leaving WRC, leaving Toyota Gazoo Racing in the top level, to pursue a career in Formula One. And Kaylee, not last year, but I think the 2 years prior to that, he was like back-to-back champion. So that was a huge loss, number one, straight off the top. But Ott Tanak, who was the, I believe, 2019 champion, announced over the weekend during the Rally Japan that he is also going to be leaving at the conclusion of the season. So it's not good for WRC. Now, I've made the argument several times. Like, a lot of people complain about the fact that I complain constantly about these different series, and it's not that I'm trying to complain. It's just that I'm trying to give constructive criticism. Now as far as NASCAR is concerned, yeah, I complain about that a lot because it's absolutely ridiculous what that sport is or what that series has turned into. But on the fundamental level, I love WRC still to this day. I mean, yes, there's some issues that need to be resolved, but overall, I still love WRC. It's my favorite motorsports category. So anything that I say that's negative, that comes across negative, is just strictly meant to be constructive criticism. I don't know what the FIA, what their plan is, and exactly what they're doing. I know they've kind of landed on, I can't remember what year, next little bit, to have a rule change. It's kind of bring Rally 1 specs down to planet Earth, so it's not outrageous like it is now. But I think their long-term goal is to attract some more OEMs or manufacturers, because right now they only have Ford, and Ford is a little at best as far as factory support, but Toyota and Hyundai are the two main factory teams, and that's not healthy in a series like Rally, especially when you look at Rally 2 and they have far more manufacturer support there, and that's kind of bad considering that it's stepped down from Rally 1. And so I've made the argument, and I've been saying it, that it doesn't look like the series is all that healthy, and I could be wrong. I'm not exactly sure, but it's just from my perspective. I think losing two of your top stars, which, make no mistake about it, Ott Tanak is one of the top stars in WRC. I think losing him and Kaylee is going to be, it's not something that can't be overcome. I just think it's going to be, in the short term, very detrimental. You look at where, Kaylee, he's got the pedigree from his father being involved with the sport. He's, I believe they're Finnish, and so they've got a lot of those fans from that corner of the world, which Rally, people in Finland bleed, Rally. That's their bread and butter. And then I think Ott is from Estonia, and it's going to be a similar thing there. So it's going to, in the short term, it's not going to be all that great. But it's not something I think that they won't overcome. Now, obviously they will, but I just hate seeing it, man, because Ott's a hell of a race car driver. 100%. The Hyundai team is kind of wishy-washy. Toyota is just, is Toyota. I think the as far as resources and stuff goes, it's just a limitless supply of what they can throw at that operation. So that's tough to beat, And it's been that way every time Toyota enters the sport. I think it was back in the 90s when they had the Celica. That thing was awesome. And they were really good. But and then they left and they came back with the the Yaris that they run now, and they were good essentially straight off the bat. It's tough to compete with, but Ott proved that he had the ability to do so in the Hyundai, and the Hyundai they're good as well. So don't get me wrong on that, but it just sucks to see it is what I'm trying to say. Now the fun part's going to be who's going to take their places. I think it's pretty well set in stone that Oliver Solberg is going to move up to Rally 1 next year with Toyota. He'll, in all likelihood, take Kaylee's place. But who's in the pipeline for Hyundai that's ready? I can't think of anybody off the top of my head. Maybe they snatch up someone like Nikolai Greisen. I don't know if he's affiliated. I know he drives a Skoda right now, but Skoda's not in Rally 1. So I don't know if he's affiliated with any of the other manufacturers. That would be someone that I would look at if I was Hyundai to take Ott's place. But, those guys, they've got talent on the books that they're working with, so they'll figure it out. Big news in NASCAR. Well, I think big news. See this shirt? I wore that for a reason today. So Corey Day announced that he will be running full-time next year in the, the O'Reilly Auto Parts, whatever series, the Xfinity series, the Busch series, the Nationwide series for Hendrick Motorsports. And that's, I have nothing personal against Corey Day. I didn't buy the shirt because I was a fan. It came with some other shirts that I bought. But I'm not saying anything bad about him at all. Is he ready for a full-time gig with Hendrick Motorsports in the second-tier series in NASCAR? That's debatable. That is very debatable. What is he shown? He finished second in a truck race at, I think, IRP, Indianapolis Raceway Park. But outside of that, he's not really done much to warrant a full-time ride in Xfinity, in my opinion. And like I said, I'm not saying anything bad about him, and he may prove me wrong. He may go out there next year and absolutely demolish everyone in a good way. But he may go out there and demolish them in a bad way too. It may, you just don't know. But I would just say, based on recent events, unless something crazy happens, I just don't see it, man. Like, I know he's good at the local level, in the grassroots level. I know that, no question. Sprint cars and stuff like that, yeah, the dude's awesome. But he's not, like, again, because I don't want anybody jumping on here and chewing me out and saying, oh, you don't know what you're talking about and blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying anything bad about the guy, all right? There are some people that you can just look at before anything happens and you can tell, hey, that this is probably not the greatest idea. And Hendrick's made that mistake several times over the years. So look at Brian Vickers. Brian did one good year in the Busch Series, and then he's ready for Cup. And it didn't work out. I mean, he won one race at Talladega, had to wreck the leaders to do it. Yeah, I don't know. Casey Mears being another one. Nothing against those guys. I was a huge Brian Vickers fan, actually, when he drove for Red Bull, but I don't know. Hopefully it works out. We shall see. One thing that is happening that I'm excited about is Parker Retzlaff has left Alpha Prime, and he's going to Viking Motorsports. Viking Motorsports is the team that Matt DiBenedetto drove for this season. And I don't know if I think they're a second-year team. And the first year they ran it basically as a satellite or sister operation to Ryan Sieg's team. And then they branched out on their own this year, and they had some good runs. That's one of those teams you could see there's potential there. They had flashes of brilliance several times. And I don't know what it is with Matt and some of these teams, man. Like, I was talking to somebody the other day, and they're like, well, these teams just don't work with Matt and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, maybe. But, when you get to the position where it's like you keep getting let go everywhere, every team that you drive for, everywhere you go, it's kind of like the deal where, like, if you run into like more than one a-hole during the day, well, then you might actually be the a-hole. I like Matt, and he's a good driver, but there's something there, man, and I think it's something that we're not being made privy to, like it's a behind the scenes thing. Again, I could be wrong. I don't know, but Parker is a cool kid and a good kid. He's got limitless potential. He proved that with Ryan Sieg's team when he first showed up in the Xfinity series. He has the potential to be a race winner, to be champion. He just has to have the equipment under him. And I think, honestly, if they work together and there's no rush from either side, I think that organization can be a contender in Xfinity series. And I believe it will happen. So mark my words. You heard it here. So when he wins a race in that car, you can come back to the Robin's Nest Autosport and be like, hey, Forrest, you're right, man. You knew what you're talking about. Why? Because you're a legend. And legends are never wrong. I'm just kidding. If you guys enjoyed listening to me ramble about motorsports cars, and anything else I felt like talking about, make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, turn on notifications. It works. If you're interested in diecast cars, t-shirts, hats, auto parts, anything like that, check out our eBay. The link is in the description. Follow me on Facebook and X for more motorsports content. Those links are also in the description. As always, thank you all very much for watching. Until next time, we'll see you. Peace.